Taylor Swift's wep Taylor Swift's reps are slamming Justin Baldoni as a bully, claiming that he's only using her for headlines in this lawsuit against Blake Lively. The paparazzi have conveniently caught Taylor and Travis Kelce out in Philly over the weekend. Plus, Blake is demanding to see Justin Baldoni's financial records. Bryan Freedman is coming out swinging against Stephanie Jones. And The Real Housewives of New York, is it canceled? Is it not canceled? We have a lot to get into. I hope you're ready for it. Let's dive in. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. Welcome on in, everybody in the club. We all fam. What's up, guys? Happy Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope you had a lot of fun. Elizabeth says, good morning, Zach. Beautiful day in Chicago today. Sunny and up to 78 degrees. My type of weather. Hope LA as well. And I hope you are chipper. I am chipper. But Elizabeth, you're in Chicago. Does that mean, Elizabeth, you know what I'm going to ask you? Does that mean that you are coming with me on tour? I'm coming to Chicago. On July 27th. I'm doing the Zactivated Tour. Dallas, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Toronto, Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles this summer. Get your tickets now at nofilterlive.com. Dallas, Phoenix, Philly, Toronto, Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles. Get it. Get your tickets now at nofilterlive.com. Yes. Please tell me you're coming. Can't wait to see you and Donna in Brooklyn. I'm very excited about that. Can't wait. Sophie says 98.1. Yes, 98.1. The No Filter. Yes, we are so close to 100K. We're at 98.1. So if you have not subscribed yet, guys, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button so that you always get the tea. You can also hit the little bell down below if you're watching this on YouTube, and that'll make sure that when there's a new episode of No Filter with Zack Peter or a new video that drops on YouTube, you get a notification for that. So thank you for supporting on Apple Podcasts. Be sure to leave a review. Thank you for supporting on Spotify. Continue to comment down below, and definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet on the YouTube. All right. Where should we begin? Do we want to begin with RHONY? Because I feel like, one, I know a lot of people have been missing Housewives coverage because obviously we used to cover a lot of Housewives in reality TV, which I feel like we still do. We haven't like completely abandoned other coverage. It just sometimes isn't always that relevant or that interesting. But so anyway, there is a new report that came out over the weekend that basically says that the Real Housewives of New York has been canceled, which I don't know. So obviously, Real Housewives of New York was one of the staple shows on Bravo. It started back like in the early 2010s, right? It was Real Housewives of Orange County, and then it was Atlanta, and then I believe New York was number 3, and then Jersey and Beverly Hills. And DC was also one of the top ones as well. But so it ended up getting rebooted. There was a whole drama and controversy with the original cast, which consisted of Bethany Frankel, Ramona Singer, Sonia Morgan, Luann de Lesseps, Dorinda Medley, Leah McSweeney, and Ebony K. Williams. Those were 2 of the newer additions. A lot of people did not seem to like them very much. But then eventually, in the past 2 years, they rebooted the show altogether. And then we got a whole new cast. That was this woman, Raquel. We had Sai. We had Jezel. We had Jenna Lyons. We had Aaron. We had Bryn and Uba. So there was a new report that came out over the weekend, I think maybe Friday, that said that Real Housewives of New York was essentially being canceled. I'm pick my phone down. That it was essentially being canceled and that it wasn't coming back, which nobody was surprised because nobody liked the reboot. The reboot sucked. The reboot was not good. None of these people were interesting. They were all kind of curated influencers and nobody gave a shit, right? Like we just didn't care about them. Very few people enjoyed the RHONY reboot, but it was kind of unnecessary. Bethany Frankel came out and she said that, of course, the reboot didn't do well because it was the network trying to cater to too many people. And when you try to cater to everybody, you don't make a good show. And I think when you are catering, when you are pandering, you don't create a quality show because that's what made a lot of these shows like especially Real Housewives of New York, so unique is because it was just these wacky women doing wacky things. And then we got political, and then we added in, um, all of the virtue signaling that the network then wanted to lean into. And it turned and it started to circle the drain very fast. So, um, it Andy Cohen has come out and he said it is who's the figurehead, the mascot of Bravo. He used to be one of the executives at Bravo. He's no longer a Bravo executive. He's still an executive producer of the Housewives franchise, though. He hosts The Reunion. He hosts Watch What Happens Live. He came out and he said, no, it's not canceled. And so people were like, see, RHONY's not canceled. So how does stuff like this work? Well, technically, Real Housewives of Dallas is not canceled. Real Housewives of Dubai is not canceled. Real Housewives of New Jersey is not canceled. There's still no official decisions have been made. But do we plan to see Real Housewives of Dallas on our screens anytime soon? Probably not. I mean, we're still waiting to hear an update on Jersey. That's kind of just like been shelved and put on pause for the moment. Real Housewives of Miami, that got put on pause for what, 8 years? So, I mean, it's possible that the show could come back at some point down the line. No, it hasn't officially been canceled the same way Real Housewives of Miami was never officially canceled. So it was just, I don't know. Russ says New York was second. I actually think it was Atlanta that was second, and Atlanta and New York aired within months apart. I think Atlanta was no, I think that one had a different name too. They were both other like, I know New York was Manhattan Moms. I do believe Atlanta was the second one though, and New York was the third. That's why there was all that drama about like who put Housewives on the map. Was it Vicky Gunvalson and OC because they were the first, or was it Ramona and Jill Zarin and Bethany in Real Houses in New York, because that's when it became a bit more of like a cultural phenomenon, and they were on the cover of what was it, the New York magazine. So yeah, but it's where we're at. The show. So is it officially canceled? Yes and no. Like sure. Like we're redefining what those terms mean. Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Morocco with Brandi Glanville and Caroline Manzo. That technically hasn't been canceled. It's kind of just being shelved at the moment until they sort out all of their legal drama, which I don't know if they've solved that yet with Caroline, or if they've settled with her, or what the deal is. We haven't heard any updates on that. We've heard about the Leah McSweeney lawsuit. We have the Rachel Leviss, Tom Sandoval, Ariana Madix lawsuit that's coming this November. What a mess. But that's the thing, is we got too political, and then it just became super, about pandering and virtue signaling, and then all the lawsuits came out because everybody got then the cast was uber sensitive about everything. It's funny because Bethany Frankel was basically saying that the original Housewives of New York, it was real, it was raw, it was authentic, and that's what made it so successful. But then she's also fighting to make sure that the shows are changed and they're not what they used to be, because she now says that the network needs to protect these women, when it's well, when you over button it up and you make the rules a little too strict, and you don't let people just organically be themselves on camera, because then they're going to complain later that you were somehow endangering them when they kind of signed up for this and they agreed to it as long as the fame came with it. And then when they got fired, like Leah McSweeney, then they'd suddenly change their tone, and they're like, well, actually, no, even though I chose to drink on the show, I felt like the producer should have stopped me from drinking because I have a disability, and her disability is alcohol use disorder. And so now she's trying to sue the network for that. Whatever, girl. Good luck. But we'll see where that goes. Emily Cheek says, oh, I would love to get tickets, but I live too far away. And unfortunately, my husband says that the bank robbery is wrong and illegal. Oh, yeah, you can't really do bank robberies. But Emily, trust me. I believe in you. I want to see you. So if you can make it, come on down. Alexandra says, hey, Zach, why were you and Donna feuding on the gram yesterday? Okay, guys, this was a fake fight. Are the stories still up? They should be. This was a fake fight. It was not real. Okay, let me see if I can. Let's do a share screen and I'll play them for you. This was not a real fight. Okay, so this was the first one, and it was Donna. And so I had texted Donna, and I had told her, let's see, I said, I think Karen Reed is guilty. And she said, LOL, you do not know enough. and then she posted it on her story. She told me she was going to post it, and she did Taylor's because baby, now we got bad blood. And then I said, okay, Blake Lively, cherry picking my text messages, which I think I misspelled cherry. And then I showed the full thread where I said, I'm kidding. I just wanted to ruffle your feathers. And so I shared that back at her. And then I was like, hashtag, and then I shared a piece from our text thread that said, hashtag never forget at Donna Bowling. And then I showed our text thread from December 2024 where I was defending, well, not defending Baldoni, but I was like, so like not trusting Blake Lively. And I was like, Donna, this is not like you're falling for it. She's the one that did the smear campaign. And Donna was like, no, never. And so I was like, hashtag never forget. And then I did this one, this photo of her. And it's Donna when she was in Chicago, but I put hashtag believe Blake. And then I put a picture of Blake Lively's face on her torso. Because she's a hashtag believe Blake defender. And then she clapped back with NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye. And she took a photo of me. And she did a little thought bubble with Ryan Reynolds' face in it and says, I'm doing all of this for Ryan's attention because he's so hot. So yeah, that was funny. And then people are like, wait, I'm confused. Are you and Donna feuding? And I was like, no, we're just playing. It's not real. It's not real. We're just playing. The fact that people took it seriously was kind of funny to me, though. So, yeah. Well, Janelle. See, Stephanie says, I found this feud hilarious. Okay, see, it was meant to be campy and jokey and fun. So, there you go. There you go. Alabama seen the fake fight note. Yeah. I love Zack and Donna together. Well, we're going to be in Chicago and in Brooklyn together. So if you guys want to come on out, hang with us, hang with Chef Stu. Giorgio says it's going to be in Philly with me. I have the Sidley twins. They're going to be in Seattle with me. I have Colonel Kurtz. It's going to be in Dallas with me. It's going to be a good time. It's always a good time. Okay, let's dive into the Taylor Swift of it all, the Bryan Freedman of it all, the Justin Baldoni, because there's so much to update and so much that went down over the weekend. But very quickly, let's first get a message from this week's sponsors. Have you seen the latest fluoride headlines and the water supply? Well, the future of oral care isn't fluoride. It's peptides, and the wellness company just launched the first ever peptide paste that regenerate gum tissues, strengthen enamel, and naturally whitens your teeth. It's called Smile, a doctor-formulated breakthrough that works with your body's natural repair process. This advanced formula blends targeted peptides with blue spirulina, aloe vera, and powerful remineralizers to boost blood flow, stimulate collagen, and help rebuild lost gum tissue, all while gently whitening without sensitivity. No fluoride, no peroxide, no artificial dyes, just real clean ingredients that fight bad bacteria and support a healthier mouth from the inside out. Ready to upgrade your oral health? Experience the future of oral care with Smile. And get 15% off plus free shipping on every order. Just head to twc.health/nofilter and use code NOFILTER. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow. That's twc.health/nofilter and use code NOFILTER. Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy, okay? Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick from gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. I like that Protein Plus. I'm trying to be proteined up for summer. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss. Like I said, I'm loving their Protein Plus package. The food is delicious, and it's so nice to just walk in, pop it into the microwave, and be done, and not have to worry about cooking or going to the market, which reminds me, I have to go to the market. But now I have Factor, and at least dinner tonight's covered. Get started at factormeals.com/nofilter50off. That's nofilter50off. And use code nofilter50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code nofilter50off at factormeals.com/nofilter50off for 50% off plus free shipping. Are you sick of drinking your calories or waking up hungover? Having some drinks can be fun, yes, but I'm glad that I found an alternative that lets me feel great in the moment and the next morning. And those are the out of office gummies from Soul. You may have seen me post about them on my Instagram, and it's because I really am taking them. I really am enjoying them. Sometimes you just need a little something, right? Something in the middle of the afternoon to help you get through the rest of your inbox, or something at the end of the day to make your evening a little more enjoyable. And that's where today's sponsor, Soul, can help. Soul is a wellness brand that believes feeling good should be fun and easy. Soul specializes in delicious hemp derived THC and CBD products designed to boost your mood and help you unwind. Their best selling out of office gummies were designed to provide a mild, relaxing buzz, boost your mood, and enhance creativity and relaxation. The out of office gummies come in 4 different strengths, so you can find the perfect dose for your vibe. Choose a gentle microdose, you can get the perfect buzz, a noticeable high, or if you want the fully lit experience, that's an option too. Plus, Soul has so many other amazing wellness products with or without THC, depending on what floats your boat, including a variety of gummies and capsules that can improve sleep, stress, pain, focus, bloating, and more. Bring on the good vibes and treat yourself to Soul today. Right now, Soul is offering my audience, that's you, my audience, 30% off your entire order. Go to getsoul.com, that's GETSOUL, getsoul.com, and use code NOFILTER. That's getsoul.com, promo code NOFILTER for 30% off. All right, guys, let's get back on into it. Let's get it. Yes, Billy says Zack is so close to 100K. Hit the like and subscribe button. Yes, guys, hit the like and subscribe button. Okay, so Taylor Swift. Obviously, I revealed that she'd been subpoenaed. We're expected to also see, or she will be deposed this summer as well. Bryan Freedman is not only coming for her texts, possibly her emails. We don't know exactly what was in the subpoena, but we do have a reaction from her. We have a lot of reactions. We have Justin Baldoni breaking his silence. We have Bryan Freedman speaking out. We have Stephanie Jones making a fool of herself. We have Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift's rep released this statement on Friday to People magazine. Taylor Swift never set foot on the set of this movie. She was not involved in any casting or creative decisions. She did not score this film. She never saw an edit or made any notes on the film. She did not even see It Ends With Us until weeks after its public release, and was traveling around the globe during 2023 and 2024, headlining the biggest tour in history. The connection Taylor had to this film was permitting the use of one song, My Tears Ricochet, given her involvement was licensing a song for a film, which 19 other artists also did. This document subpoena is designed to use Taylor Swift's name to draw public interest by creating tabloid clickbait instead of focusing on the facts of the case. Dun, dun, dun. And then Bryan Freedman, obviously he's been very on top of all of this, and I love that Taylor Swift is now kind of trying to distance herself, right? She's trying to take a step away from Blake Lively, but I don't buy this because Isabella Ferrer has already come out and said that she heard that Taylor Swift was instrumental in helping to get her cast. I would imagine maybe it wasn't so much where Taylor Swift was reviewing all of the casting tapes, but from the story that we do know and the story that we have heard about this, Taylor Swift and Blake Lively were both together reviewing, or Justin Baldoni had shared with them the casting tape for Isabella Ferrer, and Taylor Swift co-signed, Blake liking Isabella and wanted Isabella cast to play young Lily, who's the younger version of Blake Lively's character, Lily Bloom. Now, do I believe that Taylor was like actively reviewing casting tapes from multiple actresses? No, but she definitely had some sort of influence there. And not only that, but Taylor Swift was involved primarily because of how Blake Lively inserted her, right? She said that she happened to walk into a meeting between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. She claims that she didn't know that the meeting was going on, that she was told to meet Blake Lively at her apartment, and the meeting happened to just still be going on, to which she walked in. I think Blake intentionally knew that the meeting was going to go long and knew when to invite Taylor. That way, Taylor could walk in at the right time. And just having Taylor Swift in the room, I think, was designed to put pressure on Justin Baldoni. And so with that, we see the text messages where where Blake Lively is texting Justin saying that Taylor and Ryan are her dragons and saying that they agree with her script rewrite. So I would imagine when Blake Lively, she talked about wanting to testify, I would imagine that in her deposition that we're likely going to see Bryan Freedman ask her, "Well, you said Taylor Swift was one of your dragons. You said that she agreed with your script rewrite, specifically with the rooftop scene. So if she agreed to this and she had your back," and Justin Baldoni obviously also co-signed that, being like, "I didn't even need Taylor or Ryan's influence because obviously, I trust you and I trust your creative process and whatever." Blake Lively seems very, very manipulative. And I think her flexing Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift was her way of trying to get what she wants. And she knew having Ryan and Taylor in her court was going to be helpful. So didn't score the film. Okay, but they weren't saying that they scored it. They said that Tay Tay had the composer fired. And hers. Okay, so that's a separate thing. So there's that. First up is the casting. She said that Isabella Ferris said that that Taylor Swift was influential in helping her get cast in the film. Justin Baldoni also admitted that when he was on his press tour for It Ends With Us last summer. Then we get into the script rewrites, which Blake Lively co-signs in her text messages, saying that that Taylor and Ryan were very instrumental and very supportive of Blake's script rewrites. We also had Blake on the red carpet say that Ryan wrote most of that scene, so it's going to be interesting to see which story she decides to stick with when she's officially under oath. And then the third layer is the music side of it, right? Where her team's like, well, she just licensed the song, which is true. She did license the song to the film, yes. But on top of that, there are rumors, and this was a Reddit rumor, and we can take it with a grain of salt, but we can also take it with some sort of seems to be some validity to that Reddit thread, because the Reddit thread also talked about Blake Lively threatening SH claims, threatening to take her claims to the New York Times. And this was all months prior to the New York Times article actually dropping or the CRD complaint officially being filed. So there was a lot of things that were listed in that original Reddit post, which I think was like in July or August is when that came out. It must have been August when all the rumors were starting to go around. And so that's when that Reddit post came out about Taylor, and, that there was other things that were going on, ultimately predicted what ended up playing out later on in December. So I think that Taylor is going to have a lot to answer for. I don't think it's as easy as her being like, well, I don't know, and them just like dismissing Justin Baldoni as a bully. I think that's kind of stupid. But they also released another statement to Page Six. And in Page Six, Blake's rep went on to further talk about Justin Baldoni specifically, saying that this is a very serious legal matter and it's not some circus, which obviously, but who's the one that's turning it into a circus? They said that Justin Baldoni and Wayfair are just continuing to turn this case of harassment and retaliation into entertainment for the tabloids. Again, this would have never been a thing had it not somehow leaked into the New York Times. Like, we're forgetting how we got here and who involved the public initially, right? Like, that's the part that to me. Oh wait, I think this is a statement from Blake Lively. So the first one to people was from Taylor Swift. This is Blake's rep that's talking about them inserting Taylor or dragging Taylor Swift into this. And obviously, I think Blake is trying to save her friendship with Taylor Swift, and she wants to be like, let's publicly distance Taylor from all of this drama. Let's make it clear that she didn't have any sort of involvement, because she wants to play nice with Taylor. And so what I have heard behind the scenes is that Taylor was upset, and that's why Travis Kelce unfollowed them, because Taylor got subpoenaed and the headlines continue to come out, and Blake has never publicly distanced Taylor from the film. And now, interestingly enough, we see Blake Lively now issuing a statement being like, this is, Bryan Freedman just trying to turn this into, a circus, especially um after asking about the Madison Square Garden live stream. But Blake's rep continued to go on and say that, this is just more retaliation for a woman that has given a voice to millions all over the world. It's dumb. I don't know who's believing this bullshit anymore. The defendants continue to publicly intimidate, bully, shame, and attack women's rights and reputations for the publicists for their own personal gain. It's dumb. Like, really? We're attacking women's rights. We're attacking women's reputations. You ruined your own reputation, including the past month seeking to strike down for all a powerful California victims' rights law, calling it unconstitutional. They didn't call the law unconstitutional. They called how you're abusing the law unconstitutional. Let's be very clear. Let's not tweak that. The disturbing actions by a billionaire, I'm assuming she's referring to Steve Surowitz, men who made their careers as female allies, and now their teams continue to show their true colors. No, they're exposing your true colors. You're the asshole in all of this. You're the one that's ruining women's opportunities to come forward because you've come up with this whole fake sham Me Too situation because you thought that you were going to be able to bury Baldoni. It's so funny, the hypocrisy, because everything that we've seen Blake Lively do is what she's accusing Justin Baldoni of doing, and they expect us to just believe her. Why? I don't understand what we're supposed to believe about Blake, aside from just the blanket believe all women, which absolutely women deserve to be believed, but I don't think all women deserve to be believed because some women do lie. Amber Heard was a perfect example of that. Speaking of, I know Amber Heard. We haven't heard about her in a minute. She just had twin babies, and she announced that online. Good for her. I don't know how she's affording all these babies out in Spain. I don't know what she's doing these days, but Susan says it's strange. Taylor is a much bigger star, but the publications are not following suit with the Daily Mail. They continue to spin Blake's narrative. The Daily Mail is one, and the Daily Mail and the New York Post are the only ones that are actually calling out Blake's bullshit. And good for them, you know? Not many people are doing it. I feel like the Daily Mail is actually trying to investigate this and trying to actually get to the truth of these matters without just trying to, protect Blake at all costs. It's very strange the way that the press continues to protect her and, like, wants to just coddle her. And I get it. It's a very sensitive topic, but again, anybody that looks at this and reads the court documents and reads her allegations and looks at what evidence, which has yet to be presented, so many people are like, just wait, it's going to come out at trial. It's going to come out at trial. There's so many opportunities that she's had now to debunk things and yet continues to not. I don't know. But Taylor's not gonna get away with this. She's not gonna get out of this. It's not going away anytime soon. It's gonna ramp up. And my thing is, it's like, if there's nothing to hide, great. There's nothing to hide. So what's the big deal? Participate, get with the program. Let's get to it. I know that we can do it. You know, I believe in you, Taylor. All you have to do is just be honest. And if there's nothing to tell, then it should be a pretty quick deposition, and you don't have to worry about that. It was also funny though, because I saw that Blake Lively was spotted out in Philly. So there's been speculation regarding, or sorry, not Blake Lively, Taylor Swift was spotted out in Philly with her boyfriend, Travis Kelce. And there were rumors that they may be on the rocks because we haven't seen them together. And then the reports that came out, they were like, oh, they've just been hanging out with their friends individually. They don't always need to be publicly photographed together. And then what a coinky dink. We find them out, and the paparazzi just happened to be out in Philly. We haven't seen them together in months and months and months, and now suddenly, or I guess they haven't been together since, I think, the Super Bowl when Travis Kelce lost, which again, that was a terrible Super Bowl, terrible game, terrible halftime show. Everything about the 2025 Super Bowl was not good this year. I'm still waiting for the concrete evidence Blake claims she has. Yeah, it doesn't appear that she has any concrete evidence. It just, doesn't appear that she has any because she's trying to dig some up in discovery. When it's like, if you had evidence, then, like, show us the evidence. Where's the beef? Show me the beef, you know? But so I don't think that it's a coinky dink, especially considering Travis Kelce just unfollowed Ryan Reynolds a couple weeks ago. Ryan Reynolds was asked about it at the Green Day Hollywood Walk of Fame event, and he dodged questions, looked kind of annoyed and irritated when people were asking about it, which tells me that they're not in a good place. They're not on good terms. Then you add to the fact that now we're publicly seeing photos of Taylor Swift out in Philly celebrating Mother's Day with Travis Kelce and his mom. Well, no. That seems a little too convenient. It seems like she's making it clear that she's standing by her man. They haven't released a statement or issued anything about him unfollowing Ryan Reynolds. So, I don't know. I have questions. Amy Shepard says, now seen through the media and Hollywood, everything they do proves to me why I don't trust them and doubt everything. The The more of us wake up, the more we can come together, the wake up to wake up others and cause change. I agree. I mean, we're learning this. I mean, this isn't the first time this has happened, though. You have to really look back and think, how many times have we been manipulated, or how many times have we been lied to, or how many times has there been a narrative that we just bought into that wasn't true, or that wasn't accurate, or that wasn't real? Especially considering how hard they're protecting Blake. Like, this is months of persistent protection of Blake Lively in the media, which tells me that this has probably happened many, many times. And I mean, I'm not really shocked by it, but at the same time, I also just feel like it's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. It just makes you think about things differently in retrospect. Justin Baldoni broke his silence over the weekend, not so much with the case specifically, but he did. Zach, when will this judge come back with his decisions to dismiss? I don't know. We do have some updates because there were some new letters that were filed in court, and I think Bryan Freedman did a really good job um, with them. But I also Justin Baldoni posted for Mother's Day with the women in his life, which I thought was a really sweet message. He said, "My mom gave us faith. He said, my mom gave us faith. My wife is the definition of it. Our children are growing up in the fortress of that love. Happy Mother's Day to all." And it's a cute photo of him with his kids and his mom and his wife. And it's just a happy Mother's Day post, which I thought was really sweet. And you can see. Um, Candace Owens commented. She said, "Somebody Photoshop me in, please." Donna Bowling commented, said, "So beautiful, Justin." Whitney Cummings says, "Your wife was my mom on the set of Grizzly Park." How funny. Elsrich commented, "Y'all are a sight for sore eyes. Consider me your toxic positivity liaison. He's risen." Justin Anderson commented, "Good men are raised by good women." Yes. Like, so good men are raised by good women. I know that's right. Team Baldoni. We have a lot of she raised good men. That she did. Team Justin always. Listen, because he's not afraid of keeping the comments out. Oh, Andy Grammer commented. Wow. He's the musician. "I'm a singer. Love everyone in that photo with all my heart." I love that. I love it. I love it. Oh, how did I not even like this? I was off the weekend. I was I was off the internet over the weekend. I was like, I need a well needed break. Yes, last week was just crazy, 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 crazy town. Okay. I want to talk about this letter from Bryan Freedman because we're now seeing the Vanzan lawsuit that we learned about a couple weeks ago. It has now twisted, or it has now come full circle, and it's being presented in court, which I think is great. Oh, BravoCon tickets are out. Interesting. BravoCon tickets are $1,500. Who do they think is watching Bravo? That's expensive, plus travel to Vegas. Do the Bravo Lebs get paid? I believe the Bravo Lebs get paid $5,000. And I believe everybody gets paid the same amount. Zach is my lawyer. Yes, that's the new merch I want to drop. Zach Peter is my lawyer or my attorney. I don't know. One of the two. We'll figure out how to phrase it. I commented he didn't shut off his comments like loser lively. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let me pull up this letter from Bryan Freedman because this one's really yummy. And I was very excited to read it all. Read all about it. Extra, extra. Read all about it. Okay. We'll go through it. It's only 3-ish pages, but it's delicious. Okay. Dear Judge Lehman, as counsel for Wayfair, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sorowitz, it ends with us, Melissa Nathan, and Jennifer Abel. We oppose Jones Work LLC and Stephanie Jones's motion for a protective order. So Stephanie Jones is full of shit. Let's see. I have her letter right here too. So she wrote a letter to the judge basically defending herself and why, pursuant to federal rules of Civil Procedure 26 and 25 of this court, we write on behalf of our clients, Jones Work and Stephanie Jones, to respectfully request that the court enter a protective order prohibiting the Wayfair parties from enforcing a subpoena served on Edgeworthy Security Services that improperly seeks to obtain Jones Work documents outside the party discovery process and calls for documents and communications that are protected by Jones Work attorney-client privilege and the work and the work product doctrine. Any responsive Edgeworth communication with or documents regarding Jones' work are protected from disclosure by the attorney-client privilege and work product doctrine, and this court should bar enforcement of the subpoena to the extent it calls for the production of such documents. The hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is wild. Let's go back to Bryan Freedman's response. So that's she wants a protective order. And so Freedman is responding saying, quote, the crime fraud exception strips the privilege from attorney client communications that relate to client communication in furtherance of contemplated or ongoing criminal or fraudulent conduct. And then they reference the case that this is from. The exception also applies to the work product doctrine. And then they reference another case. For the crime fraud exception to apply, there must be probable cause that a crime or fraud has been attempted or committed, and that the communication in further were in furtherance thereof. Courts have long construed the exception of reaching some conduct beyond. Hold on, let me reread that. Courts have long construed that exception as reaching some conduct beyond crime and fraud, such as international torts. They reference the case. The exceptions encompass misconduct fundamentally insists with the basic premise of the adversary system. Courts have applied that the crime fraud exceptions where parties' actions in discovery are found to be calculated and purposeful litigation misconduct. On August 21st, 2024, so they're saying that there's a crime fraud exception that would not abide by the attorney client privilege, basically saying that Stephanie Jones has committed a crime and she's committed fraud with the original subpoena from the Vanzan lawsuit. Okay, so they're saying that she's no longer entitled to her attorney client privilege because she's technically in breach of the law. And then what's the second one that they reference? It's the crime fraud exception and what was the other one that they referenced? Sorry. Crime fraud exception to apply. They've been committed or is construed beyond the crime and fraud. The exception encompasses. Okay, maybe it was only. I feel like there was another one that they referenced. On August 21st, 2024, Jennifer Abel arrived at Jones' work office where she was ushered by Edgeworthy's security personnel into a conference room, falsely imprisoned by Edgeworth's security personnel via its intimidation and implied pressure coercion, and coerced by Jones' work chief of staff and lawyer present in the room to hand over Jones' work issued cellular phone to Edgeworth's technology personnel, which she was told was solely to facilitate the release of her personal phone number. In truth, without Miss Abel's knowledge or consent, Edgeworth's technology personnel forensically accessed everything from her personal iCloud and email accounts available on the phone, her text messages, emails, personal photos, etc., and delivered the material to its client, Jones' work, which then had unrestricted access to. So here they're trying to say that this was the breach of privacy. They're now looping in the security team that I guess imprisoned Jennifer Abel in the conference room along with the attorney and the chief of staff. So they're coming at Jones' work hard. And Jones' work is saying, no, 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 we shouldn't have to turn any of this information over, especially because our attorney was present and we do have attorney-client privilege. Jones' work acknowledges that it possesses Miss Abel's private communications, includes such communications in its pleading, and admitted that they were forensically extracted from the phone by Jones' work IT specialist, which is from Edgeworth. So here they're referencing Jones' work's actual words in their lawsuit against Jennifer Abel when they're trying to defend themselves and be like, no, this is what we did and it was totally kosher. And Bryan Freedman's like, actually, you admitted to what you did and it was not so kosher. As detailed in Ms. Abel's responsive pleadings, Jones' work's misconduct, including through its agent Edgeworth, constitutes one, a violation of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act because Jones' work intentionally accessed Ms. Abel's cloud-based accounts hosted on a remote server by non-parties such as Apple or Google and obtained her private data without her consent. Two, a violation. Well, I guess I'm curious what those documents Jennifer Abel signed were, because if in those documents that she signed, I know she's claiming that she signed them under duress, but she may have in that moment given them permission to access everything. I would imagine her or the Joneswork attorney made sure they covered their asses with this because they definitely thought a lot of this through. We're having Stephanie Jones as a client must be a real disaster because she kind of just goes rogue and goes wild and does all these crazy things that you have to then clean up afterwards. Two, a violation of the Stored Communications Act because Jones work accessed, intercepted, collected, financially benefited from, and or disclosed Miss Abel's emails and text messages. Three, a violation of the Federal Wiretap Act because Jones work intentionally intercepted, used, and or disclosed electronic communications within, to, and from Miss Abel's mobile device, email accounts, and iCloud, and because Jones work diverted those communications to Blake Lively as specified below. Four, a violation of the California Penal Code 502C for similar reasons. And five, an invasion of Miss Abel's privacy. And six, conversion. The same day, August 21st, 2024, that Jonesworks improperly obtained Miss Abel's private communication and data, and in the days that followed, Joneswork disclosed the information to Blake Lively and or her agents. At the time, Lively was reeling from a storm of self-induced negative publicity surrounding It Ends With Us, and she saw an opportunity to use an ill-gotten communication to spin a false narrative of a smear campaign to the New York Times by cherry picking and splicing communications, which, when viewed in full context, demonstrate an effort to prevent Lively's vicious behavior and malignment persona from overshadowing the film. However, because Jones Works had illegally obtained Miss Abel's communications and then improperly disclosed them to Lively, Lively needed a veneer of legitimacy to explain her possession of the stolen materials prior to giving them to the New York Times. Bada boom, bada bang. There we go. On October 27, 2024, Lively and her counsel herein, Manet Phelps and Phillips, initiated a proceeding in New York State Court, Vanzan Inc. versus Does 1 through 10. The sham action is what they're calling it. The sham action. That's funny. A true copy of the complaint from the sham action is attached as Exhibit A. The sham action was a transparent ploy to manufacture a procedural vehicle by which Lively could subpoena Jones' work for Miss Abel's communications without notifying any of the Wayfair parties, including Miss Abel, all of whom lacked notice thereof and were deprived of an opportunity to object. This is a really good point here. But the issue is Lively's team is arguing that they didn't know who the does 1 through 10 were. That's why they had to do this. But it's like you had to have known something if you knew to go directly to Stephanie Jones and she knew exactly which messages to turn over to you. You knew something was at Jones' work. You can't tell me you didn't know Baldoni and Heath were part of this when you have claims against them. You can say maybe you didn't know Jed Wallace was a part of this and he could have been one of the does, but the rest of them, Jennifer Abel, Melissa Nathan, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sorowitz, like these are all people that you knew you were coming after from the get-go. Let's see. The plaintiff, Vanzan Inc., is an inactive corporation affiliated with Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and unrelated to the film. The Vanzan complaint is devoid of specific allegations against anyone, much less Miss Abel, relies exclusively on recitations of boilerplate legal jargon, and implausibly alleges that Vanzan is unable to identify its own contractual counterparties. After the sham action was filed, Vanzan, aka Lively, issued a subpoena signed by Manet to Jones' work to pursuant the CPLR 3120, the sham subpoena, which permits the service of a subpoena merely upon commencement of an action, unlike the federal rules of civil procedure. Vanzan, aka Lively, did not name any of the Wayfair parties as defendants in the sham action because doing so would have required service of a copy of a sham subpoena upon them and enabled them to move to squash it, which they did not do. As planned by Lively and Jones' work did not object to the sham subpoena, as any reasonable recipient thereof would have done, given the lack of any specificity or coherence in the complaint and the contractual obligation they would be violating. But instead, blithely surrendered the entire contents of Miss Abel's stored communications a second time to Lively without Miss Abel's knowledge and to fabricate a protection of legal process. Telling on December 19th, 2024, the sham action was discontinued. The next day, Lively filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department and included Miss Abel's communications therein. On December 21st, 2024, The Times published an article containing Lively's allegation and Miss Abel's private communications. Despite repeated demands, Lively's counsel has failed to provide the Wayfarer parties with the sham subpoena. Boom! There it is. In her amended complaint, Lively represents that this court, and I know people, Team Lively, would be like, well, actually, she's protecting her privacy. She doesn't have to, but just wait. It'll actually be brought out during court when she's subpoenaed. Again, if you have all of this, Penny says she objects to this subpoena, but not the sham one. Make that make sense. Thank you, Penny. She's objecting to this new subpoena, but she did not object to the initial subpoena because now she's gotten caught. That's right. Good point. Okay. In her amended complaint, Lively represents to this court that she obtained Miss Abel's communications through legal process, including a civil subpoena served on Joneswork LLC, which is a direct quote from Lively. Joneswork similarly represents that it received a subpoena for the phone's contents. Neither Lively nor Joneswork told this court that the sham subpoena was issued in a case where Lively intentionally omitted herself as the plaintiff to avoid publicity, intentionally failed to name the Wayfarer parties as defendants or any actual defendants to avoid the obligation of notifying them of the sham subpoena, and where Lively had no intention of actually litigating the claims in the sham action. Equally as bad, Joneswork's counsel publicly claimed that Joneswork disclosed Miss Abel's communications to Lively in response to a court-ordered subpoena. It is unclear how the sham subpoena could have been court-ordered given no judge was assigned to the sham action, which would have required the filing of a request for judicial intervention. The subpoena in Edgework seeks documents concerning Joneswork's receipt, use and disclose to Lively of Miss Abel's communications, the facts of which are undisputed. The misconduct by Joneswork constitutes tortious conduct and a violation of multiple federal and state statutes. This sham action and the sham subpoena, which were unquestionably designed to provide a false cover for Joneswork disclosure of Miss Abel's communication to Lively without notice to Miss Abel or any of the Wayfarer parties, constitutes serious litigation malfeasance. Malfeasance, yeah. The court should find that the crime fraud exception applies to Joneswork claim of privilege. It's a pretty strong, it's a pretty big argument, right? Crime fraud applies where defendants attempted to defraud the court by relying upon an inopposite agreement that was altered to support a motion to dismiss. Crime fraud exception applied where expert reports were foregone and ghostwritten. As the Wayfarer parties prepare to seek further relief with respect to the sham action and sham subpoena, we respectfully request that the court deny Joneswork motion and compel Edgeworth to comply with the subpoena, or, in the alternative, conduct an in-camera inspection of the disputed documents. Yeah, there we go. And then they have the Vanzan lawsuit here. But we still have not seen, here's the actual complaint, but again, we still have not seen the actual damn subpoena. Where is the subpoena? Why is it being hidden still? What is the dealio? It's just not looking good for any of them. I think, okay, I have a hot take, and you might not like it, but it's honest, and I actually think I'm kind of spot on with this one. I don't think Taylor Swift had major involvement in the movie. I don't think she had a big involvement in casting. I don't think she had a big involvement in rewrites. I don't think any of that. Honestly, I think Blake Lively was just using Taylor Swift as a pawn to get what she wants. I think she maybe shared some script rewrites that she wanted with Blake, and she's like, "What do you think of this? Don't you think this would be a good idea?" And Taylor was like, "Yeah, that's actually a really smart idea." And then she was like, "Boom, there it is." And then she runs over to Justin. She's like, "See, my dragon said it worked. My dragon said yes." I mean, how many times have you done that with your parents, right? As a kid, where, you ask your mom something like, "Mom, can I have ice cream?" And she says no. And then you go to your dad and you're like, "Dad, can I have ice cream?" And you find a way to like play your parents against each other. I think like Blake Lively is just very manipulative in all of that. I don't think Taylor cared to be part of the film. I think Taylor was used by Blake Lively, and I think that's why Taylor is so pissed off, because she's just like, one, you called me your fucking dragon, the audacity, and two, like, what? Holly Beale says, Zach, I agree. Taylor Swift didn't have major involvement at all. Blake Lively majorly involved her and used her name for a flex. And that's what Taylor Swift's deposition will ultimately reveal. That will be brought out as to what communications Taylor Swift actually had. And I think through her depositions, we're going to reveal that Blake Lively was just using Taylor Swift. She wasn't actually like a dragon that would come and defend her. It was the other way around. She was using Blake Lively as this, or she was using Taylor Swift. Blake Lively was using Taylor Swift as this, ominous dragon. Emily says, so quick question, where was Plantation Barbie's Mother's Day post for her brave mother and the trauma her mother went through that was the worst crime a woman could have done to her? Yeah. Great point. Great point. Kay says, I agree. To be honest, narcissists often use people against each other. Yeah, I think she's absolutely done that before, you know? Oh, Sukami says, Taylor Swift was not you, Zach. Come on. Well, no, I think here's the thing. I think that when you look, you do add in the fact that Taylor was on tour that year. She doesn't give a shit about what's going on with That Ends With Us. I'm sure she had more involvement than she's leading on, right? If there are rumors that she had a composer fired, I'm pretty sure that there may be some element of truth to that, of being like, well, yes, you can have my song, but like I don't want this person to have anything to do with that. I have beef with them, baby. Now we got bad blood. It ain't all mad love. That person needs to be kicked off the project, and then you can have my film. I'm sure Taylor does shit like that all the time, right? That I wouldn't be surprised with. But to think that she was actively involved in, the trying to steal the movie from Baldoni, I don't think Taylor Swift gave a shit about taking the movie from Baldoni. Taylor Swift was busy doing her own thing. And I think that's why she's really not aligning herself with Blake anymore, is because she's pissed off because she does see how Blake was using her. I think Taylor Swift is a mean girl, and I think Taylor Swift is manipulative. All of those things. I do like her music, but I do think that she's a mean girl. I do think that she's very manipulative. However, in this case, I don't think she had much involvement in the film. I think Blake used her because Blake also probably learned from her. Michelle says, how much you want to bet Blake had them fired in the name of Taylor without actually consulting Taylor on it? Oh, or to piggyback off of that, Michelle, what about Blake had them fired and then use that to be like, listen, Baldoni even hired this other composer that I told him not to hire, and I made sure he got rid of them, and use that to show her loyalty to Taylor so that Taylor would be more willing to be like, yeah, okay, here you go. Take the song. It's all yours, you know? Mm, 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 mm. Mary says, I don't think Taylor had much to do with the movie, but she does know the plan. But does she know about the plan to take the movie? Yeah. So that's another thing, is like she could be privy to that information. And I don't know if she's going to protect Blake when she's actually under oath. I think at this point, she's going to do everything she can to protect herself. And we predicted this months ago, that eventually everybody's going to start to turn on each other to save themselves. Paula M says, why didn't Taylor stop Blake from doing those interviews using her name? That's a good point. I think she probably I don't know. Well, I feel like Blake didn't really use Taylor's name as much as the rumors were kind of out there, because Taylor's name first was surfaced with Isabella Ferrer. She's the one that first said, yes, Taylor was instrumental in helping me be cast in the movie. And then Justin Baldoni was asked that same thing. So Blake didn't use Taylor's name much in the interviews. She was just using them more so behind the scenes, and then the reports came out. But I don't remember a single interview where Blake I mean, I may be mistaken, but based off of all of the interviews in the press that she had done, she used Ryan Reynolds' name. Remember, she said, "My husband wrote the scene." So there are times where she very specifically referenced Ryan Reynolds, but I don't believe she ever was really referencing Taylor all that much unless she was asked about it, and I believe she was asked about it after Isabella and Baldoni had already spoken about it. Jessica agrees that Taylor Swift will turn on her. Yeah, I think Taylor, her team's going to oh, Susan says, yes, she did. She said Taylor was with her the entire time. Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, I did. She did say that. Yeah. Well, all of that's going to be pulled into question now. All of that's going to be brought up. Zach, go listen to Popcorn Planet today. He continues. He has countless clips and snips of Baylor mentioning Taylor being part. Oh, well, then there we go. There we go. Go listen to Popcorn Planet. I'll tune into that. Sorry, it's been months and months, and we've covered so many different things and watched so many different clips and interviews from the past several years that remembering everything off the top of my head does get a little jumbled sometimes. Nick Vial believes it. I saw Nick Vial over the weekend at the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives premiere. What a time. It's giving single white female. Um, in several interviews that I've seen, she says Taylor Swift was with her throughout the whole thing. Yeah. So I guess the montage you can watch on Popcorn Planet. Click the like button, guys. Soren says Taylor didn't support Blake, but her rep attacked Justin, so you'd be more on the side of the person you're not attacking. Her rep sounded as bad as Blake's. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen at this point. It's like a volcano erupted. I mean, yeah. It's getting more and more crazy. Um, but yeah, that's Taylor. Her reps are slamming Baldoni. Blake's reps are calling Baldoni a bully that's trying to take away women's rights and trying to hurt and harm women. Um, they both claimed that Baldoni is just using Taylor Swift's name for headlines. Paparazzi conveniently caught Taylor and Travis out in Philly. Blake wants to see Baldoni's financial records. So that was another, again, we had so many things that were filed over the weekend. But Blake Lively now wants Justin Baldoni to prove in her latest letter to the judge that he has lost $400 million. They're like, show me the financials, which I'm just like, what a stupid argument because he could do the same thing to you. You're claiming that you lost out all this money and yet you're over here working and doing just fine. You know, you had your little penguin movie that you narrated, and then you had your Another Simple Favor movie that just came out. You're doing all the red carpets. You were honored on the Time 100. You were at SNL 50. So I don't really see how Blake Lively's career has been harmed at all. But now she's requesting that Baldoni out his financial records. Please, 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 please. You think I just fell out of a coconut tree? Daily Mail stated that Taylor blames Blake, not Justin. Yeah, I believe that. I believe she absolutely, and I believe that's why Blake Lively's rep came out to be like, no, Justin's a bully, and him dragging Taylor in is just him trying to turn this into a circus. Penny says Taylor's reps basically said Taylor wasn't involved in anything Blake claimed, basically calling Blake Lively a liar without. Yeah. Yeah. And so not only do they call Blake Lively a liar, but then they also unfollowed Ryan Reynolds, her and Travis, and then they were out there publicly together. They knew that if they go out publicly, I mean, there are rarely paparazzi in Philly. So the fact that a paparazzi happened to find them out in Philly at a random restaurant, like do they even live in Philly? He's from Kansas City. Irma says, "Sorry, that is not obligated to show 400 million in losses now." No. But I mean, he could argue, like, and arguably with that 400 million, you could argue that the film could have been franchised, right? It Ends With Us did so well, it made over 300 million that that could have been argued that the second film could have done just as well. And all the other people that have lost money in all of this. Like, I think Blake didn't cite exactly what was it, 124. Her lawsuit against Baldoni was for 124 million. Is she gonna be able to prove all of that? What all of her Blake hair care or Blake Brown hair care line? That the only damages she can prove from her hair care line are the customers that are buying it. Show their damaged split ends. That's the damage that she can show in court. Yeah. Paula says he was dropped by his agent. His award was taken away. Yep. All of that. All of that. So he lost whatever deals were potentially on the table. I would imagine WME is going to get subpoenaed, and they're going to have to turn over any potential projects that were in the works that ended up getting squashed about Justin Baldoni. The second film, I mean, that's the biggest loss is he can't really make the second film now. Nobody, like, it's so tarnished, and his reputation is so tarnished. Oh, Taylor has family in Philly. Okay, noted. Didn't her hairline sell out? I don't know. I can't keep up with the stories. The stories are all over the place. Betty Buzz and Betty Boo seem to be doing well. They were just a sponsor at Wrexham. I saw them at the Natural Products Expo West back in March. They had a booth there. So they seem to be doing A-okay. They're doing just fine. Oh, living my life like it's golden. Living my life like it's golden, 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 golden. All right, guys, be sure to get your tickets to the Zactivated Tour. It's a live taping of the podcast. Like I said, Donna Bowling's coming, Chef Stu's coming, Giorgio Says is coming, the Sidley twins are coming. Lots of very fun special guests will be in the shows and more to come. So stay tuned. I'm coming to Phoenix, Dallas, Philadelphia, Toronto, Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles. Again, that's Dallas, Phoenix, Philly, Toronto. Oh, Philly, maybe I'll go see Taylor Swift. Toronto, Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles. Get your tickets now at nofilterlive.com. It's going to be fun. We're going to get to hang out. You can come watch the show. It's going to be a live taping of the podcast. The first half of the show is going to be my tea spillers panel where I'm going to have some of my faves on stage with me, and we're going to break down whatever the yummy news, especially with depositions and with Discovery unfolding all summer long. We'll be on stage breaking all of that down live for you. And then afterwards, I will have a very special guest that'll join me on stage for a special one-on-one interview. Paula M is coming to Toronto. Paula, I can't wait to finally meet you. I'm so excited. Guys, get your tickets now at nofilterlive.com. That's nofilterlive.com. All right. I love you. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hit the subscribe button, guys. We're so close. We're so close. Like, so close. We're at 98.2. 98.2 the way. So go show some love. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Hit the like button, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I have on Hannah and Hagen from Vanderpump Villa, so I hope you binged over the weekend like I told you to. Hope you binged. I hope you caught up. I hope you're ready because it's a juicy one. All right. Ciao for now, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Talk to you later, skater. Bye.